Nice to see all you. Okay. So today we'll talk about a little bit about compassion and emptiness. Maybe then we look at in our daily life how much we, how you say, all these concepts and all these ideas, how much we actualize. Okay, so maybe we'll discuss this. So now let's talk with the compassion. And compassion, we all agree, is wonderful things, wonderful things to do it. Now there's a question comes when it's a practical level, when we're engaging, and it arises many different, when you're engaging into the compassion, there's a two individuals' karma involving. And when there's a two individuals' karma involving, it's not clear-cut. The compassion makes it generally very clear-cut. It's wonderful to do it. But when there's a two individual karma involved, there's a too complicated. There's a complex. Basically, in such a case, not compassion, kind of like a naive compassion. So we have this naive compassion. There is a compassion kind of like a skillful means. Also now it comes here, it kind of wants to reach with the individual's karma. Now the compassion have to kind of like navigate through the karmic chaos. We have to navigate through. Okay, so here. So now the general, what happens is, in such a case, once we face condition, how we prepare for that, okay? Are we know all thing way to, is there's all the yield sign and stop signs and intersections will be there? None of these will be there, okay? There will be like a learning process how to navigate through this karmic chaos. There's no such a things. So basically, what will be the preparation will be there. Okay, the preparation will be like basically our own preparation is not so much focusing into the detail. We might think the preparation will be like all the kind of like when you go to exam, you have all these questions you kind of like get through and kind of rehearse all the questions, and then somehow one of those questions will come into the intersection and you're going to answer. There's no such a things like that called compassion meditation. Okay, so basically able to navigate through this karmic chaos about two individual situation, I think the preparation will be fundamental. Our daily meditation in compassion. Okay, so that will be like, and that meditation in compassion have to be specifically drawn true to this individual person, or this meditation in compassion is like a very broad. Okay. So if this meditation and compassion is very specifically drawn to the specific things, I'm not sure it will be limited. So our daily practice of meditation and compassion should be a really broad in terms, going to do a compassion meditation for this individual, kind of individualizing compassion meditation it will pretty much contradict with the compassion practice. Okay. So, but our common thinking, like, okay, if I'm going there, I should bring that subject here and rehearsal and go there, so I can navigate through that. So compassion looks like it's the minute you get very narrowed down, when you become very specific, somehow it doesn't work. Okay, so now let's go like an example, like His Holiness, like anytime when he give a public talk or anything, there's one theme he will kind of very consistent. It's almost like a script, like all the time he will say that. But of course, obviously it's not script, but I think what you hear is like basically one sentence that he will say, like, we're all same. We're in a superficial level different, but we're all human level same. So there is this, you can hear a lot from such a His Holiness, which will be the example of individual person who are practicing compassion. So that what really give us is something that way we connect with the world and way we connect with the humanity. We are not going to connect with the superficial level, the difference, the titles, all this. Maybe the question comes, maybe we should have some research how human interacts, how human connects, how family each other connects, how community each other connects. And in very much consistent, we will connect with the status. In Tibetan, we have this kind of hierarchy in the family, quite a lot, quite often. In England, there's this name, what you call something. Some of my friends in England, they say like, they have some hierarchy in there. So basically, I think as an individual person, how we connect with the inner world in generally, I think that's I think the fundamental foundation of a meditation of compassion. So like there's this kind of like a very in the basic, in human level of a connection rather than the superficial level. I think meditation of compassion is basically, it's not so much thinking about that they're suffering and pain, but how we connecting. I think this is the fundamental. Somehow in the meditation of compassion is so much how you connect, the way you connect with where you connect connectivity. You're kind of like exercising and rehearsing or strengthening that you're going to connect with all people with a very in a basic in human level. You know, it's one time His Holiness mentioned, even I see one homeless people, I meet governor, I don't feel that much different. It's just I'm seeing this one human being. And I think this is, of course, that doesn't mean he ignores the governor part, he ignores the homeless part. It doesn't mean that. But the main that is kind of like a way we connect in a step number one. The governor will become secondary. Homelessness become maybe secondary. And the humanness becomes the fundamental first. So I think meditation of compassion is not so much thinking about suffering and disadvantage, and I think where we're developing the connection. Okay, so once we have a utilized very good way we connect with each other, is not about very conditional and that's I think fundamental. So usually in a Lamrim and everything Texas, it's like, well, we all same, we all in the same journey. We're all in the same journey. So that's basically some way to kind of like bringing into the fundamental level. Okay, so meditation of compassion is so much about to seeing, pretty much comes to like some kind of equanimity, something that okay. One time in Iceland, His Holiness was coming. Socialist countries are not too much hierarchy basis. And His Holiness coming, and the group of my friend, they are organizing His Holiness visit in Iceland. And Iceland is so strong socialist country, and you can see their president in a grocery store or swimming pool, or there's no kind of police and these kind of things. It's very normal. Okay, you're doing that. Okay, but we all the same citizen of the country. They have so the group were having some kind of meeting. Okay, His Holiness arriving, so in Iceland when he's like America. There's all this kind of police. There's just regular, stop sign. You stop exactly same. Everybody's same. There's no like a special kind of things. The country doesn't function in that. They don't have such a system. So it's like a regular car. You stop in stop sign, and like just as like everybody, like same thing. So, but the only thing, like the students wants to bring His Holiness from, when he arrives, and not as a going through regular, I say, you go through that, getting something quick he can get out. And one of my students, she was using the word BIP, this word BIP, and there's one Iceland guy, and he kind of weird discussion on the like half an hour ago, and he said like, what is BIP? He have no idea. He said like in the middle of things like behind. So he said, what is behind? Also, yeah. So like he's a native Icelandic guy, and such a thing doesn't exist. Such a thing. There's no BIP. Either everybody's a BIP or everybody's no BIP. So it was a really. So anyway, I think so. There's this kind of like openness, basically. Once our mind gets so much these different layers, I think we get naturally nervous and basically, this is better, this is worse. I'm worse. Most time I'm not good enough than that one. The most time. So the compassion meditations are basically fundamentally that one, like how you connect it, and that's that's also how you connect with yourself, how you connect with that. Once we kind of like grounded that well, all the problem that we usually go through, I'm not better, I'm comparison, all that layers the story that we go through, or so therefore like in the monasteries, the Rinpoches have also hierarchy. Within the Rinpoches, then there's like not because your grades are higher, Geshe Harampa or nothing, because your previous life, what kind of title you have, sometimes there's like complex. One time in the monastery, two Rinpoche, one is in this lifetime he have a more higher standard, and another Rinpoche is a higher standard his previous lifetime. So there's a how the sitting have some tension happen, some tension happen. So I was kind of okay. Then I met him. Like I said, like don't argue. Why you argue? Like it's just leave it. Like if you're just starting to make a noise, and everybody will say like tell you both are very silly. People are not starting to believing into these one things. Like in the monastery, even the system is happening like that. But the new generations are not so much believing into this one. But there's an old generation, and they're still trying to keep the tradition. So he got kind of squeezed between these two, and I told him like, just leave it. They will make a joke on you, like them, this who's sitting high up. This hierarchy. Just don't pay attention. And then he told me, maybe you don't have that position. So anyway. So this, like basically, it is really fundamentally meditation compassion is basically developing human psychology, fundamental foundational way to develop human psychology. It's not kind of religious, and it's not about kind of specific things. Sometimes we feel like maybe it's very, very specific things. So okay, so this is basically, basically. It's not about, usually compassion sounds like something like a suffering, but I think meditation and compassion is fundamentally comes how we connect. Connecting without agenda, connecting without title or aspect or something, just connecting. And then really that's how I connect with myself. This whole thing we develop, this will becomes the fundamental foundation of how we strengthen our human emotion, human psychology, human conscious, okay, this kind of like an economy. So there's all these conventional layers you are able to overcome, okay? So basically now this is a kind of like almost like the nutrition, almost like the strength of a health of our awareness. Basically, in a way to say, is the health of our human emotion, maybe human emotion, human awareness. Okay. So now, if an individual person who have that kind of, how you say, awareness or habit or mentality, and then maybe now, okay, now there's an individual karmic issue. Okay, what happens here? Okay, this individual karmic issue. In individual karmic issue, this person is well prepared. Usually, individual karmic situation happens, you bring all those conventional specific things. Because this person's, at the beginning, you are not buying into these kind of specific things. You are really kind of ease with these specific things. You are not ignoring, but you are not buying into those specific things. It's not the core value of how you're connecting with it. So specific will be there, but it won't become hindering for the individual karmic situation connection. So they will be like, basically, compassion without a distraction, basically. Let me say, like, once the individual have that kind of like a very fundamental way of connecting happen, then usually, we are intended that compassion get distracted by the individual karmic situations. And then, like, this distraction take over and we get really complicated, okay? So basically, what happened is it's kind of slow down your, your good intention. It slows down, that distraction creates. So basically, fundamentally, in a general practice, your own meditation, you have this kind of like a very broad and very kind of like a way you're connecting. You develop that very strong. And when it comes to individual level, because of the strength of that, compassion will never get distracted with all these small detailed things. Small detailed things can be transformed, able to transform, able to navigate, able to transform, able to navigate, able to kind of, it doesn't become a barrier between your action and what you want to do. So I think that's the kind of like the, so basically how you, like for example, sometime in a conversation, or you're having meeting, and some individual can have a strong opinion which can be totally contradict with your own ideas. But usually what happens is you kind of take, he or she negating my idea, and this kind of separation we kind of creating. I think, and then this is okay, conventionally there's something happening, yes, that's true, but what is happening is that we should acknowledge and not ignore is very important. Compassion is not telling ignore that what's happening. We should pay attention, but compassion is basically saying is don't get distracted with that one. Okay. Also, you need to see this as a person who are having totally different opinion of ideas. Let's see as this is a person, and usually I think we look at in human psyche. When you have like a narrow mind, we almost kind of like squeeze together that different idea and the person who have that person, and we kind of like really package together and like a really kind of negate. So anyway, so key thing over here is this kind of like a broad connection is, I think, the way you compassion is not so much about the suffering, thinking about the suffering. Compassion is about how you're connecting, okay, how you connect, okay. So now maybe it may comes to, maybe if we look at it in our human awareness, so meditation, for example, so if you look at human awareness, our daily mental function and the meditation. So basically, I think these two activities should cover all our human awareness ground. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, what's happening is, in 24 hours in our awareness, usually what's happening is all the time hitting into the details. It's also detail oriented. It's all the time kind of like maybe unorganized detail oriented, maybe chaos detail oriented. Okay, so it's kind of like in one area. So our meditation should be like a counterbalance, something that broadening. Our meditation get also kind of detail kind of things. It is maybe we're not bringing all the healthy. It's all things like when you do yoga posture, when you scratch this one, you also need to scratch this one part. You only scratch one part, and so is this kind of counterbalancing meditation should be like in our meditation, should seeing like counterbalancing our human awareness. So our daily life is so much chaos detail oriented. Sometimes quite sophisticated, and most of the time it's like it's like a rough landing. Oh, not sure where it's going to land. Oh, luckily it landed safely. Okay, so in a meditation, it have to be not a detail oriented. It need to be broadened. It need to be expansion. So that's have to be kind of the balance. Okay, and. And it's almost like all the time we're thinking is like a counterbalance. It's like like for example, if our mind is too chaos, then maybe in part of the meditation, maybe time being like just kind of like not engaging, not looking for something to remedy or something to, it's just kind of like it's all. Somehow we need to, if we want to train meditation, I think we need to really study our behavior of our awareness. Individual study is not in the text, and it's individual, like our body. I'm trying this, oh, maybe this has happened, maybe it's wrong, but anyway, this is a really important self-awareness. Very, very important. It's not just going to the text and just trying to get from there. This is lots of kind of like a learning of your awareness. We're trying to learn our body. Still, we are trying to kind of taking medicine or something. But still, most important, if you want to stay healthy, the individual person need to really pay attention what your body is saying. Not so much giving like, oh, doctor told me that, and then that's a little bit lazy, I think. Giving entire to doctor. Giving entire to Buddha Dharma Sangha, now you have to take care of me. It doesn't work. So the like kind of like a learning and assessing awareness of your own mind behavior. Like, why this today is a little bit different? Why? Or like I think this kind of like attention will be really important. Okay. So basically, some meditation should become your session of a meditation. Just be really quiet. Even if you drop your broadness, like a wave of connection. Even just totally silent. Okay. Yeah, it sounds really good, but it's never become silent. How to make it silent? How to mute my mind? Okay. Obviously it is in the early time when I trying to learn English, I don't know when since 1970s, Copan from the AP period time. So anyway, there is some kind of like how I can, if I memorize like 300 vocabulary, sometimes I thought something like that. I'll just memorize because we are trained to memorize. I'll memorize like. But it is not memorization is also gives you vocabulary memorization, but that's mostly like how you kind of like implement and how you interact with the words and that practice, that interaction, that practice. Okay, so basically, I think we need to learn how to silence, able to create inner silence. What should I do externally? What should I do internally? Okay, tomorrow morning I want to have a silent meditation. What should I prepare for that? Okay, So we have to have externally what should I prepare, like, and then that externally preparation will give us really good internal preparation also. Okay, so this is like lots of thinking ahead. You just sit down and tell you want to have inner silence. That kind of like a pressuring our mind. There's no way. The mind is anytime it get pressure, it reacts. It reacts. Okay. Okay. So anyway, now that's kind of like a meditation of compassion. Usually introduced as a kind of reflection in some kind of suffering, but this is not necessarily, okay? Kind of like a way to connecting fundamentally, okay? Now the question comes, meditation of emptiness. Meditation of emptiness. Emptiness. And what is the relation with meditation about compassion? Okay, emptiness. Emptiness. What you think emptiness meditation?
I think it's you were talking about this like basic connection between people. There's this kind of like temporary differences. It's the emptiness aspect.
Okay. Now we are talking about the detail-oriented versus more basic fundamental connection. So maybe now meditation of emptiness is one of the wisdom which we overcome from this habit of a chaos detail-oriented. Chaos detail-oriented. Okay, so basically what's happening over here, meditation of emptiness is, how we kind of undo this kind of habit of a chaos detail oriented. Okay, mind is moving so fast, mind is making different conclusions so fast, and there's this kind of like a projection, is happening so fast. Everything's okay. Mind is very fast and projecting, and it is a really fast editing lab. It edits very quickly. It's edited. It gets the information. It gets the things. It gets edited. It's put together. Editing it gets its own editing, and it publishes, and the reader gets reader is yourself, and you get scared, and you want to obviously you want to do where you want to edit it. And the most time we edit it like more scary, more kind of like, okay, this is like basically from Lamrim point of view, our mind does our minds edits the samsara in three things: how you relate with your friends, how you relate with your enemy, and how you relate with the stranger. So basically three themes. Is edited into that way. So meditation about emptiness is basically a way to developing some kind of discipline, this editing process. So here, it is how you say, unregulated editing process, and meditation emptiness maybe regulates that. Anyway. It is very interesting when you watch CNN, how they tell the story, and when you listen to Fox, how they tell the story. So anyway, meditation over emptiness over here, the word use emptiness, okay, but fundamentally, it is basically that. It's kind of like a meditation emptiness is kind of developing kind of like ethic base is our awareness. It's kind of like this wisdom is kind of developing because, you know, we can regulate external things, okay, like the body, the house, the external. The how to regulate mind is so complex. Like for example, today's world, you know, like when it comes to the cyber in internet, the regulation becomes kind of vague. It's kind of complicated. This invisible phenomena when it comes up is very complicated. It's same with meditation with emptiness is so much how to develop the ethic and the discipline and there's some kind of like a structure, or I'm sure structure, or, you know, basically is a is a basically meditation of emptiness is a basically kind of like a wisdom watchdog for our mind. No, you are making superimposing. you're exaggerating. You are exaggerating. You are superimposing. You know, all that things. Meditation of emptiness is one thought. You know, like one instant of a thought shoots. Here it have all this exaggeration, fabrication, and all these different layers. Okay, so meditation of emptiness is basically in another way to look at it. You know, every these days our house have a the temperature you put in a certain level, and then it's a regulator, and then it keeps not drop down and not it's a wisdom meditation, and wisdom is almost some kind of that really keeps the function of our awareness into this kind of like a really balance. Okay, it's just like it doesn't drops in a nihilistic, it doesn't kind of go shoots up into the superimposition, so but still there's some kind of movement still happening. So wisdom meditation of emptiness is basically the wisdom that constantly kind of at the beginning, we need to at the beginning almost like we are hand-picking cherry kind of style, whatever the headlines of your emotion over today. So you kind of taking with that, you're kind of like, okay, ego have an opinion and wants to say something, but kind of coming down and trying to kind of balance and kind of bringing into a so at the beginning we might have that, but and again, it might have two layers of a meditation. What we're facing and again, the same question: are we get detail oriented, or we do same like a compassion meditation? We should kind of keep it broad. This kind of like it can have the same kind of question. And again, I feel in our daily practice, in our daily meditation, it should be, again, not necessarily cherry-picking, kind of detail-oriented, not necessarily. It have to be abroad. It have to be, our own sitting practice, meditation practice, sitting practice meditation, it have to be some kind of broad. Abroad in terms over here is basically, if you're doing a meditation over emptiness, is basically basically you are kind of like a distancing kind, how you say, usually in a meditation of emptiness is some of the terminology nyamcha nangatabu, jetu gyumatabu, nyamcha nangatabu. Nyamcha nangatabu is meditated equipoise as like a space, basically our awareness is basically kind of pulling out from the detailed kind of behavior, and it's kind of like a much more spacious awareness. Nyamcha nangatabu, spacious awareness. So basically, what's happening is in a meditation of meditation of emptiness is usually, if you look at in our mind how it functions, is a kind of like a function in the logic and reasons. This is that, this is that. It have its own reason. A reason can be not necessarily, valid, but it's so much, it is a constantly kind of like assessing, and it kind of interacts, anyway. Our brain's kind of like constantly active. It's moves with some kind of like a, perspective, some reason. It's constantly working with a, like basically like, feedback. A feedback basis of our awareness functions is so much in feedback basis of functioning. It's almost like the bat when it's traveling. It is a kind of like it is a moving through feedback. So our awareness is in some way like a bat. It's a feedback basis, kind of like. So meditation of emptiness is where can we take it out all the wall, and without feedback. This, I saw one documentary. One young guy, he developed similar, like through the noise. He does. Yeah.
Like a mountain.
Yeah. Buildings. He have some cancer with his eyes, so he both blind, but he do everything with like clicking, by clicking. So our awareness, the meditation of emptiness, is very much similarly like that. Like meditation of emptiness is like, can we function our awareness not in a feedback basis? Okay, basically. Because a feedback basis is a very limited, isn't it? It is like constantly you have that bouncing area. Okay, so spacious awareness over here is basically not kind of functioning based on a feedback. Let me put this way: not functioning based on a feedback. Our awareness is also like a radar. It is a kind of bouncing in some way. The minute I sees the thought process, and it is kind of like a, So measuring the emptiness is basically trying to, not limiting in the kind of function of awareness, is based on in a feedback kind of thing, okay? So that kind of like open up more further of our awareness. It's kind of expanded our awareness. It's an expansion of our awareness is basically kind of seeds of all the growth. It doesn't limit it. So meditation of emptiness is something that is so basically what it is doing is, in the process, what it's doing is there is like a mental projection which creates these bouncing walls. Okay, so here meditation of emptiness is really trying to kind of like deconstructing these walls, mental projected walls, into all the interaction that what we make it, and trying to deconstruct that, and able to function our awareness without kind of feedback kind of thing, okay, spacious awareness. So that becomes a really, creates, infinite potential for our awareness to growth, okay. So that's kind of like the meditation of emptiness plays important role into the compassion practice, and compassion practice can be also plays important role into the meditation of emptiness. Meditation of emptiness is not so much, okay, I know emptiness, this word is very nihilistic. Basically look at from this one, feedback situation. And that's basically, pretty much our mind is, thoughts are also kind of like a feedback. Is that true, or am I just making up? It's a feedback kind of things. Huh? It's kind of like, so meditation of emptiness basically trying to deconstruct that kind of mental wall. And when I saw this documentary, this young guy was amazing. He play basketball. I think one challenge he faced when there's like a ground was a dig, and something he had one kind of challenge that sometimes he is not able to get the right feedback. That's amazing. He plays basketball, he skateboards, and everything. And just, I think they say he was the only in the human history, only the one. He naturally developed that echolocation. Yeah. It's amazing, like I don't know how these some individuals, they have like a very tremendous kind of like a one part of their brain or whatever they're doing, they develop that strength. And there's related to the memory, there's some brain different have the quality of a memory. They memorize. I saw one documentary. It says amazing brain or something, and he can memorize the numbers as like a computer, almost like same kind of like the apprehension quality, like same like. And he learned language in 4 days or something like that. All the language. I think we should recruit all these tremendous brain and put into the meditation. And he will do Shine in 1 week or something like that. Yeah, I was like amazing. These okay. So now, okay. Now, in the general meditation, what is meditation? I was reading some text. Of course, I read that text many times. And one time it says like, if you don't realize emptiness, you are just unmature. You're a child. You're a child. You're immature. You're just like nothing. That text puts you down so much if you don't realize emptiness. It's kind of like painful text. Grown up, you're trying to read. I know something. Then it tells like, you don't realize emptiness. You are nobody. You are just totally ignorant. You are this and that. So now. Now the question comes like, okay, okay, when you say, we talked about compassion meditation, emptiness, and now what's a general meditation? What if we talk about general meditation? What under the compassion meditation and the meditation emptiness still falls under the category of meditation, concept of meditation. Okay. What is a meditation? What is a meditation? Now what we are trying to do. Meditation is what we are trying to do over here. Okay. So this is the question. Okay. So and why we're doing meditation? Maybe it's more important than why we're doing meditation. May give a better idea what is the meditation. I think one of the talk shows I saw one of the guests trying to teach breathing meditation for all the audience. Like 3 times all the audience doing that. In one of the talk shows. I think these days there's this kind of people who create different meditation gadgets. There's all this coming, and one of these guys came into the and then interviewing, and then he trying to teach meditation for all the regular talk shows. So so usually if you ask why I'm meditating, because mind is chaos, so I need to meditate. You might say that's okay. Mind is chaos. Is this the really? Are we getting the clear reason why we are meditating, or because my mind is chaos, so I'm just meditating? Are we kind of make sense, or are we really getting? I'm seeing doctor because I'm not feeling well. Just saying that, or I'm seeing doctor because I have a headache, or I have a specific things that I'm fully aware what's happening. So I'm seeing not only doctor, I'm seeing this specific doctor. Yeah, we can say I'm not feeling good unless general checkup. Are we doing our meditation as a general checkup, or we are trying to see the specialist? So that's, I think, the really important part. Like why we're doing meditation. Like sometimes in India we just go to see doctor. There's one doctor, everything he just injection. And there's one doctor. He came to monastery and he doesn't believe into the pharmaceutical medicine. He said, drink hot water. Drink hot water. So headache, drink hot water. Stomach, drink hot water. And he's like, people used to joke for him. And then he'll tell like, even my wife gets sick, I'm not going to give these medicine. He will tell that. These medicines are not good. Don't take. Just drink hot water. Drink more water. So anyway, so I think the most important part is almost like why I'm meditating. I think that's the fundamental question. And my mind is so chaos, or my mind is so chaos. That's again, I think it may kind of answer, but I'm not sure it is a fully answer. The real why we are chaos. That's we have to find a very, very, very important part of the why we are meditating. We need to find out why is the chaos. And usually why I'm chaos, because my friend says go out. Okay, so obviously, so usually basically become chaos because we buy the story. We bought the story. We bought what you call the gossip newspaper, what you call it? People magazine or National Enquirer. So basically, almost like we are buying these things. Okay, why I'm chaos? Because I believe in National Enquirer. Basically, that's the pretty much it was 1997. I went to work for 7 years at Tibet, the movie, and we were there for like Argentina for 6 months. It was a hard time. It was a really boring time. And after we finished the things, and people say, oh, 7 years Tibet movie was so nice, so wonderful. And for me, I'm not able to watch even like half an hour, because I know it's all fake. I don't, when I see people say, oh, it's so nice movie, I don't know, like, really? Because I know the behind the scene. And I have no patience to watch 7 years Tibet, because I was there and I know I cannot buy the story. Of course it's a true story, but somehow to watching that movie, I feel like wasting the time. Of course it is important. This I'm talking for me as an individual person. Of course this movie done really good things for Tibet. And first when I went to the signing for this, the casting director said, this is very good for Tibet cause. And I said, okay, let's go. So basically, for me, of course it is beneficial and everything, but for me as an individual person to sit down and watch this movie, I have no patience for this one. Somehow I know it's not true, and somehow it just doesn't make sense for me just to watch that one. I think for some person who say, like, it was a so good movie, like, that's so surprising for me. That's my own. So meditation of emptiness is something like that. There's so much edited that we went through, and we're trying to buy that and trying to kind of card and believing into it. So meditation, so meditation, concept of meditation, basically, is basically when you're doing meditation, is basically why mind is chaos, because you are just buying what is edited, how the story was told. You bought the story. So meditation is basically you are trying to go behind the scene. I like this kind of behind the scene, what's happening. It's behind the scene of your awareness. Meditation basically you're trying to go, hey, it's not trying to fight with the story. There's no point of fighting with the story. You're not trying to argue with the story. There's no point of doing that. It's basically meditation, purpose meditation. You're just trying to go behind the scene. You just watch how it made it. That's so because we just boarded the edited version of the story, so we got chaos. Okay, so basically, when you say meditation, it is not just relaxing and just to kind of get out kind of from our thoughts, get out from the movie theater. It's not about that. The samsaric movie theater is all the time. Everything's a blockbuster. It is a big budget movie all the time. Its promotion happens non-stop. Marketing is a promotion, and we are part of the promotion in samsara, buying that whole thing. So meditation, purpose of meditation, basically simple as just basically kind of any thoughts, any feelings arise, really trying to go behind of that. Let's trying to see what's behind that. Observing the observer, mindfulness of a mind. That's basically, purpose. Why we're doing meditation is basically that mindfulness of the mind, introspection. Just trying to go behind the scene. Basically, when you go behind the scene, then you know who's the producer. Number one is ego is the producer. All the corrupt departments will be there. The ego, the attachment, the anger, all the common departments are. So anyway, so I think it is so much. Meditation is basically, it's not kind of taking a break. It is trying to look behind the scene of mind. So mindfulness. So basically, this is we need to find a way to get interest into looking behind the scene, because the front of scene is very entertaining. The edited versions are really entertaining. It's really good. They are really good at it. They know how to tell the story. But we as an individual person, meditator, it's like okay, this is like how to go. It's very attempting to listening for the story. The edited version was very attempting, but here how we kind of go behind. So this is the challenge, I think. Okay, sometimes you say like, why not? I just want to listen the story. Okay, so like for example, in the basically in some of the Mahamudra meditation, so like in a secular meditation, this scanning your body, we use this terminology, scanning. Okay, and in a usual meditation literature text, there's no such a word, scanning. So is a scanning. The word kind of give you a kind of like an image that mind is, just kind of like a scanning. Scanning doesn't do any editing. It's just kind of like whatever there is just kind of scan. It's just taking picture. It's just kind of scanning. So the word scanning, I think is okay. And in a secular meditation, we say scanning your body. Can we take this kind of metaphor to scanning my anger, scanning my craving and attachment? Can we take that more further? And how we're going to scan that? Is so one area is so in the Mahamudra meditation, it's basically where it's scanning is basically it's just kind of like a, it have a little bit that kind of things, like this thought is not this, not that, not this, like there's some kind of a giving kind of feedback and perspective and trying to get kind of like this thought seems like a very big deal, but it looks like really there's no way to kind of pinpoint and saying this is this thought. So wave scanning is just kind of like, it's not so much like an external things kind of scanning, it's just kind of like a detective process way of scanning, okay, in any kind of thought. So you go kind of like, what is this thought? Is this? It's kind of like a, constantly kind of like a deductive process way of scanning. I'll say that, okay? So that's one way to looking into the, when the anger arises, and it is so solid, it is so concrete, and you go through kind of scanning process, deductive scanning process. So like this, not that, not that, not that, not. So like really trying to weakening. It's weakening naturally when you go through the deductive process of scanning your anger or your reaction. It's just kind of weakening such your mind, that kind of like. So that is one way of scanning. And another way of scanning is like basically you scanning the process. I would say process. What that means is like where it's coming from, how it is, where it's going to go, where it's going to go. Like you are not trying so those meditations are basically method to, you are not going to stay into the center of the tornado. Anger is like a tornado, and you're not, if you stay in the center of the tornado, wherever, yeah, you get like in a washing machine, you get all the time, get really. So the meditation is basically trying to weakening that strength of emotion, or you are not getting into the cord that, so you basically, your awareness, you're looking into the process, where the scanning process, where it's coming from, where it's going, and that kind of like things, okay? So usual method is something like that, even in Mahamudra meditation, but even in Madhyamika meditation, it also gives you a look to the nature, look to the cause, look to the impact. What is the nature of that? Observing the nature, observing the cause, observing the result. So that's, I think, is a meditation. So basically meditation have something that, these are the kind of like the method for how to look behind the scene, like how it kind of created, how it kind of processing, where it's going to go. So this kind of like awareness, which really helpful to go behind the scene of all these afflictions. So then I think now the question comes, what I'm doing here, why I'm here, what is my purpose? What is my purpose for this month? So like we have this, lack of inspiration. Okay, so again, so here, I think, usually when you're looking for your purpose, I think generally speaking, yeah, of course, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I think it's really wonderful. But I think it also kind of like a little bit sign of a losing purpose. Okay, so this is a mixed message. Okay, there's a mixed message. Also, it is a sign of a losing purpose. Oh, it is also one way is good, is searching for the purpose. What is my purpose? Okay, so here, and usually also like, oh, I want to go somewhere to do retreat. There's no human being. Whereas there's no human being. So again, we need to study that kind of thing. Like the minute you see, you are kind of, okay, this will be my purpose. Now you have to, lots of things to learn now here. Lots of things to learn about inspiration. When you say, I want to do a long retreat where there's no human being. So it already gives you why you are missing inspiration. Who really destroyed your inspiration? It's already it gave to you already. I want to go where there's no human being. But then there's like, no, I want to have go somewhere, but there's a human being, but not bothering enough. But it's like all this, all the things. So any proposal that comes purpose of our life is the way to learn our inspiration, I think. It's not so much what it's selling, and we have to look at like where it's selling my purpose. I think here's I think the real thing what we have to learn. It is why different proposal it is proposing the purpose of life, and by not so much pay attention for the proposal by pay attention for the proposal will not necessarily bring our purpose of life. I think there's something like renovating. We need to look at for the renovating our inspiration. Somebody came and knocked down our inspiration, so we have to look at which kind of renovation need to be done. It shows through the different proposals. You can see which way to renovate, the window or the roof. So which one we have to renovate, it will show through the different proposals that when you're looking for purpose of life. Okay? So if we trying to go by the proposal of the purpose of life for that, we are just changing the location. We are just changing the location. And we're just changing the location, but plus we bring all the things which we're going to again destroy the inspiration. So therefore, so basically, when you're looking for the purpose of life, we have this habit. This, in the West, you're saying the other side is more green. Other side is more green. Other side is more green. So purpose of life is making our own backyard more green. not trying to pay attention for our neighbors' backyards more green. So again, the proposal is saying like, hey, that garden is much better. The proposal all the time happens somehow. So this is really, is related with the inspiration, related with how we develop with the inspiration. Way of developing the inspiration is fixing our own garden. It's not about kind of like fixing our garden and appreciating our neighbor's garden. Not trying to go and walk in the neighbor's garden, but you appreciate the neighbor's garden, and fixing our own garden is the inspiration. But it is a way to fixing our own garden is all these proposals. The proposal will tell you the landscape, how to landscape our own inspiration. Okay, this proposal will tell us way to landscape our inspiration. So that's, I think, this happens for myself also. Like, it's like too headache. Why not go to India and do some? Yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly the proposals. I know exactly the proposal. I know the proposal. I know the brochure. What kind of brochure is going to bring me? Cruise ship, this, that. Okay, if you buy the proposal, pretty much we're going to bankrupt about the inspiration. We're going to bankrupt the inspiration. Yeah, of course, it is not easy. Of course, it's not easy to fix our own backyard. Too many bushes, to landscape. How to landscape that? Like this? No. It is not easy. So inspiration, simplicity will be the way we start. Simplicity. simplicity. I think the simplicity is the kind of like the source of where you kind of like awakening the inspiration. How we develop the simplicity is not about now you're kind of like a packing up, but it's a nature, internal nature. There's somehow, this not constantly battle with hopes and fears. I think that basically that's in a so inspiration need to come through natural. It is we cannot kind of like relocate it somebody's inspiration. We cannot download inspiration. Somebody cannot send into the PDF file inspiration and we can download. So anyway, inspiration is, I think it is a one thing. So basically my point is, way to understand the inspiration is not so much about the proposal. We get distraction. The proposal is a distraction. And, proposal naturally happens, but that is if you go after that, that is a distraction. So the inspiration is really trying to learning the proposal. Maybe when you just study the proposal, not necessarily immediately follow this. Following the proposal can be create chaos. Friend of mine, and I will do this, I will do that. This all proposal happens and goes to Asia. And then once get Asia, then have all the proposal what she can do in Europe. Then goes to Europe. Then once you get to Europe, then have a proposal about what you can do in Asia. So like a ping pong kind of like that. And like basically losing the productiveness of our life basically productive. So inspiration in a natural basically I think we need to appreciate our life. We are not able to appreciate our life because we feel we doesn't see the productiveness. And again, same thing, productiveness, again, we go with a proposal again. We have to understand the productiveness. We need to understand this. We see where we define productiveness is based on a proposal. Okay. One of my friend, she's nun right now, but before she, she did all everything, and she got in a position, high position, all that thing, and then she's like, okay, now I should be happy. What happened for me? I don't feel like productive. I should feel productive. I should feel like appreciate myself. But now I have everything. What's going on here? This is all we are following the proposal. And we are so much pay attention to the proposal. And the proposal is not necessarily absolutely negative, but that's not the core way you can develop the purpose or inspiration. Yeah, proposal can help. It sounds like a throughout all proposal, and that's not exactly like we should, but somehow we get distracted 100% for the proposal. Okay, so then she was in whole position. She's supposed to be a happiest person according to the society. She have to be the most productive person according to the society. She should be the most effective. There's something. There's like again. There is a hole. There is a hole that. So basically, I think, and fundamentally, there is not get distracted with the proposal, not necessarily ignoring the proposal, learning through the proposal, but then really trying to get the nurture within our own self, kind of in a natural way, natural process of natural. Why it had to be so chaos? Natural. Why cannot it be natural? So natural is really, I think this is in a Buddhist meditation, they say, meditate in the nature of the mind, nature of the mind, or nature of the mind, or nature of yourself, or reality of the. So different all these Buddha's teachings. Hey, we are getting out of touch with the natural and reality. This is the teaching is constantly say, okay. So basically, so we need to learn how to not get distracted with those things. Then one thing also we should pay it, like something that when it comes to the practice of meditation, usually I feel, how to say this one. Either we go like very advanced meditation, or we are there's no middle class. Either very rich or either very poor. There's no middle class. So our meditation, either like so much just staying with a very simple, like a breath. Breath meditation is important, pay attention to your breath. But somehow we become all the meditations about just to pay attention to the breath. Or it becomes like so complicated, advanced, and like there's no middle class. There's no middle class in our, if there's no middle class, pretty much is that things fall apart. Things will not go into. There's no peace in any kind of. So we have to find our middle class in our own meditation. Where is the middle class? Where is the really sustains everything? Where is really sustains my meditation? These two things, very colorful and kind of easy things, they won't sustain the whole thing. It's not sustainability. Where is the middle class? The middle class. I don't know. Today is a very strange etymology is happening. So we have to find. We have to some way to have a more middle class meditation. more working class or middle class? What do you say that? Middle class and working. And both works. Okay. Anyway, middle class meditation. What is that? Otherwise, the country of a meditation won't survive. Or either they'll be dictator or socialist or whatever. Okay. So we need to kind of look at it into the ways that the middle ground that we need to reach and kind of like sustain that meditation. Malaya Bhajasabha Deno Bhadita Jita Mebhava Sudmukaya Mebhava Subhukaya Mebhava Anirati Mebhava Sarvasiri Jidam Jiyam Guru Bhagavan Zavata Tagata Bhajamami Mizra Bhajabhava Mahasamaya Sabha Om Bhaja Sarva Samaya Manupalaya Bhaja Sapadina Bhajita Jido Mebhava Subhukaya Mebhava Subhukaya Mebhava Anurado Mebhava Sarvasedi Mebhayasa Sarvakama Susame Jidam Shiram Guru Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Dandam Bhajamami Minzam Bhajim Bhava Mahasamaya Sadhava Bhaja Sarva Samaya Manupalaya Bhaja Sarva Dena Dido Mebhava Zudugaya Mebhava Zubhagaya Mebhava Anurado Mebhava Sarvasiri Mebhaya Sarva Chidam Jriyam Guru Bhagavan Sarvata Gata Bhajamami Miza Bhaja Bhava Mahasamaya Om Bhaja Sadhu Samaya